What would you do if God asked for the very thing you just begged him to give you? Not your comfort, not your security, but the deepest desire of your heart returned to the giver. Hannah was asked that question, and she answered with a vow that broke her own heart. Hannah. Her name is a whisper on the wind, but her pain is a weight in the stones beneath her feet. Something is breaking inside her, something that cannot be mended by feast days or familiar voices. You know what it is to carry a grief no one else sees. You've smiled through it, swallowed it, let it pool in the hollow behind your ribs. What happens when the body remembers sorrow more clearly than joy? Not a heroine, not a saint carved in marble, a woman, trembling, her breath shallow, her hands clenched at her sides. The silence around her isn't peaceful. It's thick, damp, like moss growing over a grave. Shiloh rises ahead, its stone altar blackened by fire, its courtyard echoing with the laughter of families. Children run between the pillars. Their voices bounce off the walls, high, bright, sharp. She walks among them, but she is not of them. One of two wives, two halves of a house divided. Peninnah moves like water, easy, full, spilling over with sons and daughters. Her words are soft, but they cut. Every year, the same tilt of the head, the same sigh. How is your portion this year, sister? The question hangs, unanswered, because the answer is always the same: empty. The womb, closed, barren, a door with no key. While others give thanks for life wriggling in their arms, she gives thanks for nothing. The feast spreads before them: roasted lamb, bread still warm, wine in clay cups. But her plate stays untouched. The smell of meat turns her stomach. Her throat closes. She is full of absence. Elkanah comes, his voice gentle. He means well. Am I not more to you than a dozen sons? He touches her shoulder. A good man, a kind man, but his love is a garment that doesn't fit. It cannot cover the raw place beneath. It cannot speak to the ache that pulses with every heartbeat. We see her now, not from a distance, close. So close, we hear the wet pull of her breath, the salt on her lips, her eyes, red-rimmed, glassy, fixed on the ground. She is weeping, not softly, not quietly. Great heaving sobs that twist her body, the kind that come from a place deeper than thought, deeper than prayer. And then, movement, a shift. She rises, slowly. The fabric of her robe brushes the dust. Her sandals scrape stone. She turns away from the table, from the voices, from the children. She walks, not toward comfort, not toward solace, toward the tabernacle, toward the veil, toward the place where no one goes to weep, where only priests enter, where silence is law. This is not prayer as we know it, not folded hands, not bowed head. This is a soul spilling over, a cry with no sound. Her lips move, fast, frantic. No words reach the air, only the tremor of her jaw, the clench of her fists, the pulse in her throat. She is pouring out what is inside her: grief, rage, longing, like blood from a wound that will not close. No one sees, or if they do, they turn away. A woman like this, shaking, silent, wild-eyed, is dangerous, unpredictable. She belongs to no category. Not mother, not mourner, not prophet, forgotten by the people, by the priests, by the God she serves. And still, she stands, feet planted, lips moving, heart breaking. The mist rolls in from the field beyond the courtyard. A lone tree stands in the distance, bent by wind, its branches bare. No leaves, no fruit, just roots gripping the earth. She takes another step, toward the door, toward the holy place, toward a God who may not answer. What does it cost to speak when no one believes you have anything to say? The sea, black, churning, waves like fists hammering stone, salt spray stings the face, cold, relentless. This is how it feels inside her. Not grief as a single tear, not sorrow as a sigh, but pressure, deep, unyielding, the kind that cracks bedrock. Womb, not empty. No, that word is too soft, barren, a word that scrapes the throat, a wound spoken in silence. In that time, a woman's body was not her own. It was field, it was harvest, it was ledger. A son, labor in the field, a daughter, dowry, alliance, fire in the hearth. No child, then no future, no name carried, no hand to close your eyes. The grave swallows you whole. Children were covenant. Flesh made promise. Abraham's seed like dust, like stars, but dust needs wind to scatter. Stars need night to shine. And she, Hannah, stands in daylight beneath a sky that offers no sign. Her body refuses the contract. Year after year, month after barren month, the silence of her flesh reads as rebellion, as failure, as curse. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, their names echo in the dark corners of her mind. Matriarchs, holy, chosen. Yet each walked this same path, dry earth, cracked lips, years of waiting. But they bore, in time, in miracle, in divine reversal. Does that comfort her? No. It sharpens the knife. If God opened for them, why not for her? Is she less faithful, less worthy? The question coils in her gut like a serpent. She carries the weight of lineage. The nation swells around her, tents multiplying, flocks thick on the hills. Yet her own tent holds only silence. The promise was for many, for multiplication, for blessing. But her body speaks a different truth, a contradiction, a scandal. She is a living denial of the covenant. Peninnah, not rival as in contest, but rival as in war. Zara, a thorn, a splinter under the skin. She moves through the courtyard with children clinging to her skirts. Laughter, milk on chins, diapers heavy with life, and her voice, sweetened honey. How fares your heart this season? A question wrapped in silk, but beneath, steel. She knows. She knows the wound, and she presses. Her words are not idle. They are ritual. Each taunt a small sacrifice on the altar of comparison. Look at my sons. Look at my daughters. Look at what God has done. And what has He done for you? Nothing, less than nothing. The silence of heaven becomes accusation. Her mockery is not cruelty for its own sake. It is theology turned weapon. God speaks through fertility. Therefore, your emptiness is his verdict. Elkanah. He tries. He lifts her portion. Meat, bread, the best of the offering. His gesture, public, intended to honor, to shield. But honor cannot warm a womb, cannot still the trembling in her hands. He leans close. Am I not better to you than 10 sons? His breath warm, his palm on her shoulder. But his love is a garment woven for another body. It chafes, it binds, it does not fit. He sees her pain, but he does not feel its depth. He cannot. He walks in a world where his name will live. Hers may vanish. Shiloh, the tabernacle. Smoke curls from the bronze altar. Incense thick in the air. The veil hangs heavy, blue, purple, scarlet. Behind it, presence, holiness, fire in the darkness. But to her, it is not refuge. It is judgment seat. The door is shut. The priests move behind curtains, unreachable. The sacrifices rise, burnt offerings, grain, peace. But her offering? Tears, salt, silence. No smoke for that, no priest to receive it. She is not merely asking for a child. She is fighting for her place in the story, for her voice in the song of the people, for her right to stand before God and say, I am seen, I am known, I am not cursed. The child she begs for is not just flesh, it is vindication, it is identity. It is proof that God has not turned his face. The weight presses, not on her shoulders, deeper, in the marrow, in the breath. She wakes with it, sleeps beneath it. It hums in the quiet between heartbeats. Her stomach knots at the smell of nursing mothers, the cry of an infant, like a blade. She avoids the well at noon when women gather, jars balanced, voices bright with gossip and lullabies. She walks the edge of the camp, alone. The wind carries laughter. Not for her. Her soul, bitter. Not anger, not rage, but a deep, sour well, the kind that taints every sip. She eats nothing, not because she chooses, but because her body rejects nourishment. The bread turns to ash, the wine, vinegar. Her hands tremble, her eyes burn. The nights stretch, long. She lies still, listens to Elkanah's breath. Even in sleep, he is whole. She is fractured. The silence in her womb echoes in her chest, a hollow that no embrace fills, no promise soothes, no prayer, yet reaches. She rises, not with grace, not with calm, with the lurch of a body pulled from drowning. The feast behind her, laughter, clatter, grease on fingers, fades. Her feet move, one, then the other. Dust lifts in small spirals beneath her sandals. No one calls her name. No one sees the fracture in her spine, the way her shoulders carry years of unspoken weight. She walks toward the tabernacle, toward the bronze altar, its edges blackened by fire, toward the veil, thick, woven with threads of royalty and flame. The air here is different, denser. Incense hangs like breath held too long. This is not a place for weeping, not a place for women with trembling lips. But she enters, not with permission, with necessity. The courtyard stone bites through her robe, cold, unforgiving. She finds a space before the door, kneels, not on cushion, on grit, on the sharp edges of crushed shell and ash. Her hands press flat, palms open, fingers splayed, as if to say, "Here, take everything." Her mouth moves, fast, a storm behind her teeth. No sound escapes, only the flutter of her lower lip, the twitch of muscle at the corner of her jaw. She is not speaking to men, not to priests, to the one who shaped the hollow and knows its depth. Her breath comes in short pulls, wet, ragged. Salt gathers at the corners of her mouth. Tears fall, not drops, streams. They cut through the dust on her cheeks, puddle on the stone. A small, dark mirror. She speaks without voice, words flung upward like seeds into wind. Lord of hosts, commander of armies, keeper of barren wombs. If, only if, you will turn your eyes, not glance, not flicker, turn fully upon this woman, upon this silence. Give, not promise, not delay. Give a son, flesh, cry, breath, a name spoken in my voice. And what do I have to give back? Only this, only him. He will never know razor. No blade will touch his head. He will be yours. From dawn to dusk, from cradle to grave, a life uncut, a life not mine. I surrender the very thing I beg for. Before he draws breath, he belongs to you. A shadow shifts by the doorpost. Aisle, the priest, old, heavy-lidded, watching. He sees her lips, the frantic motion, the tilt of her head, but no song, no chant, no offering raised, only silence and the tremor in her throat. He leans forward, frowns. Wine. That's what this looks like. A woman drunk on festival joy or sorrow. Either way, unholy, unfit. He rises, steps down, voice thick with accusation. How long will you go on like this? Put away your wine. She does not flinch, does not lower her eyes, turns, slow, her face still wet, but her spine straight. I have not tasted wine, not a drop. My spirit is not loose, it is torn. I am not drunk with vine. I am pouring out my soul before the Lord. My mouth is quiet because my heart is too full for noise. Do not mistake depth for disorder. Grief is not drunkenness, and desperation, this kind, is holiness. Isle hesitates, the weight in her voice, the clarity. No slur, no sway, only fire, controlled, focused. He steps back, nods, once, then lifts his hands, not in judgment, in blessing. Go, in peace. May the God of Israel grant what your lips have shaped in silence. She stands, slow. The stone releases her knees. She walks away, not running, not rushing, with measured steps. The wind shifts, a single break in the clouds, one shaft of light, pale gold. It strikes the edge of the altar. The bronze glows. She sees it, stops. Breath catches, not joy, not yet, but release. The knot in her chest, tight for years, unwinds. One turn, just enough. She returns to the house, sits, takes bread, chews, swallows. The taste, real. The meat, no longer ash. Her face, smooth, no longer drawn, no longer carved by sorrow. Elkanah sees it, says nothing. But that night, his hands gentle, she does not turn away. The stars wheel above Shiloh, the tabernacle dark. But somewhere beyond veil, beyond time, remembrance stirs. Morning comes. No fanfare, no thunder, but the turning has begun. The Lord remembers, not as man recalls a name, but as earth remembers seed, as water remembers root. She conceives. The womb, long still, stirs. A flutter, a pulse, not yet a kick, but life, undeniable. When the child is born, she names him Samuel, not because it sounds right, not tradition, because, she whispers to the infant in her arms, I asked him from the Lord. Every letter shaped by prayer, every syllable born in silence. He is not just a son, he is a vow kept, a breath answered, a light that broke through storm, sunlight slanting through high boughs, needle-thin beams pierce the canopy, stripe the forest floor in gold and shadow. Dust motes rise, hover, caught in the glow, like embers refusing to fall. The air, cool, resinous, still, a breath held between roots and sky. This light, it does not blaze, it seeps, as if the heavens leaned low, pressed a finger through the green dark and said, Hear, see, remember. Hannah's silence before the veil, her lips moving without sound. That ache is older than Bethlehem, older than the manger's straw. It is the first cry of a world waiting to be reborn. She brings no lamb, no grain, only the raw pulse of a soul split open. And in that offering, voiceless, trembling, there is already the shape of Calvary. The same God who heard her whisper would one day hear another. Father, if you are willing, let this cup pass. Two prayers, one cry, one poured out in the courtyard, one in the garden, both refusing to let go of holiness, even as it breaks them. She asks for life from a womb long sealed. So too would Mary, centuries later, feel the stir of something impossible beneath her ribs, not by man, not by time, but by the breath of God slipping between the cracks of nature. Barrenness shattered twice, once in Shiloh, once in Nazareth, each a crack through which the dawn leaks. The first birth, a promise. The second, its fulfillment. One son dedicated, the other given. Samuel, a name shaped in silence, a life pledged before first breath. He is loaned, not sold, not surrendered in grief, but released with purpose, like a bird let go from cupped hands. And the Father, how long did he hold his son? Not 3 years, not 10, but from before time, cradling the word, knowing the day would come when he too would release him. Into flesh, into pain, into the arms of executioners. Not because he had to, but because love does not clutch. It lets go. Her song rises after the weeping, after the bread tasted real again. She sings of the mighty cast down, of the hungry fed, of the barren bearing 7. And Mary, in a stable's chill, will echo those same notes, not by memory, by inheritance. The same spirit that stirred Hannah's tongue will move Mary's lips. The same God who lifts the dust-covered face will one day raise a crucified body from the tomb. The song does not change. Only the key deepens. Samuel stands between eras, not priest, not king, but the one who anoints both. He hears the voice in the night, answers, "Speak, Lord." And so does Jesus, though no one calls his name. He walks where the people have gone deaf to holiness. He speaks for them, intercedes, like a bridge built over a chasm of sin. One man, hearing God, so the many might not perish in silence. 3 years. She keeps him. 3 springs of pine needles unfurling, 3 winters of firelight on his small face. Then she walks him back, not dragging, not weeping now, but walking with the weight of surrender in her step. The road to Shiloh, dusty, familiar, now a path of sacrifice. And the Father, how long did he wait before sending his Son into the world? Not in comfort, not in splendor, but to a mother who would one day watch him bleed. The love that gives what it cannot keep. The child she begged for becomes the vessel of divine word. The one she nursed becomes the voice that calls Israel back. And Jesus, born of another woman's longing, becomes the word that cannot be contained. Not in a tabernacle, not in a temple, but in flesh, in breath, in blood spilled on stone. Her pain was not erased, it was repurposed. The hollow in her womb became a cradle. The salt of her tears became the seasoning of praise. And every desire we carry, every ache for what we lack, was never meant to be filled and forgotten. It was meant to be lifted, transformed, offered, so that what we long for becomes not our possession, but our worship. Light still falls through the trees, still stripes the earth, still catches the edge of a leaf, the curve of a stone. And somewhere, in the hush between breaths, a mother's prayer echoes into eternity. Not lost, not forgotten, folded into the cry from the cross, "It is finished." The loan has become a gift, the promise kept, the lake still. A mirror laid flat under the breath of dawn. Mist floats, thin, silver, slow, drifting just above the surface, not touching, not falling. No ripple, no break, only the faintest tremor where air meets water. The sky bleeds color, not fire, not flame, but soft gold, rose, a hint of violet pooled along the horizon. Light spills across the surface like oil on glass. You see it, feel it. The cool hush of morning pressing against your skin. A dampness in the air, not rain, just the quiet exhalation of earth waking. Now, this moment, not the story, not the past, you. Where has life gone silent? Not empty, but hollow. A room with no echo, a space where you speak and hear only the weight of your own voice. That place, the one you avoid in daylight, the ache behind the ribs when no one is looking, the dream folded and tucked away, the body that won't heal, the child not born, the love that left, the door that never opened. That barren stretch, dry, cracked, sun-bleached. You've named it curse, called it failure, whispered, "Why me?" in the dark. But listen, the God who shaped the stars from dust, he does not flinch at your trembling, does not turn from the raw spill of your heart. You don't need to clean your pain before you bring it. No incense, no polished words, just the truth, the gasp, the groan that climbs from your gut and dies in your throat. He sees the motion of your lips when no sound comes, knows the shape of your sorrow in the silence. Prayer is not always kneeling. Sometimes it's gripping the edge of the bed in the third hour of the night. Sometimes it's a fist pressed to your mouth to keep the scream inside. A wrestling, not with man, not with demon, but with the weight of waiting. And he does not rebuke the struggle. He leans into it, breathes into the dark with you. What have you held too tightly? Clenched in a fist so long the fingers ache? That desire, that dream, that person, that future. You've carried it like a stone in your chest, but what if you opened your hand, not to lose it, not to abandon it, but to let it rest, to say, "Here, I cannot carry this alone." Hannah's peace did not come when the child stirred, not when she held him close. It came when she left the temple, when she walked away from the altar with her arms empty and her heart full. The burden set down, released, not because the answer had come, but because she had spoken and been heard. What if everything you carry is not yours to keep? Not a possession, but a stewardship, a loan, breath in your lungs, light in your eyes, love in your hands, all given, all temporary. And that is not loss. It is grace, to hold loosely, to love fiercely, to give back freely. Now, here, in this stillness, let it rise, the thing you've buried, the cry you've swallowed. Let it surface. No performance, no audience, just you, and the one who shaped the silence between stars. Speak, whisper, sigh, or say nothing at all. He hears the pulse beneath your skin, the tremor in your breath, the unformed thought that flickers and fades. Your persistence is not noise to him, not irritation, not burden. It is faith, the quiet proof that you still believe in the goodness behind the veil, that you trust the giver even when the gift is delayed. So, rest. Not because the storm is gone, but because the one who walks on water is near. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. Feel the cool air fill your lungs, the weight of your body against the earth, the slow beat of your heart. You are seen. You are known. You are held. The mist still hovers. The light still spreads. The water holds the sky without effort, without strain. So can you. Breathe, just breathe. And in this drift, this quiet between moments, be still, be held, be home.